I got a little bit of a riddle for you. How do you know when you've truly grown up? Is it once you reach the legal drinking age of your country, get your first job, or is it when you move out of your parents' basement? I know that's a weird way to start a video, but this analogy does apply to the Kingdom Hearts series as a whole because, hot take, Kingdom Hearts no longer needs Final Fantasy to be popular as a series, since now after 21 years, it can now stand on equal footing with the aforementioned legendary franchise that made Square Enix what it is today. As someone who's recently started playing more and more Final Fantasy games, this truth is one I've come to see as fact. For those not understanding exactly what it is I'm getting at, Tetsuya Nomura, the director of Kingdom Hearts, came out with a statement regarding the lack of Final Fantasy characters within Kingdom Hearts 3, which goes as follows. When we released the first title, we had only a few original Kingdom Hearts characters, Nomura said. When they were interacting with really well-known, beloved Disney characters, I felt nobody really knew these new characters, so it was harder for them to stand their ground just yet. And so we had a lot of Final Fantasy characters involved to lend a hand for everyone to get to know these original Kingdom Hearts characters better. I realize that might be just a tad hard to hear for the folks who play this series because of Final Fantasy's inclusion, but I am 100% on Nomura's side with this statement. Allow me to explain. Since the beginning, Kingdom Hearts was marketed as a collaboration between Final Fantasy and Disney, two giants in the entertainment industry at the time. However, in the beginning, there weren't as many characters original to Kingdom Hearts as there are today. Think about it. Besides Sora, Riku, Kairi, and Ansem, every other named character was someone we knew about previously from the world of Disney or the ever-growing Final Fantasy universe. Yes, the inclusion of Final Fantasy was very cool in theory, because fans of the series will get to have new adventures and experiences with the characters that they've come to know and love over the years. And that sounds so awesome, but to the hardcore fans of the series out there who are watching this video with all sorts of rage-filled feelings, first of all, just calm down. Secondly,
have a break! Have a Kit Kat!
And thirdly, have you ever stopped to think what the inclusion of these characters has even done to progress the plot, or what effect they've even had on the series for the past 21 years? Well, let's take a quick look. Starting off with the most atrocious misuse of some of my favorite characters, Tidus and Wakka. Their purpose in the series basically boils down to just having other inhabitants of Destiny Islands to say a few lines, give Sora something to do by play fighting against him, which Riku does too, by the way, and ultimately, they could have easily been replaced by some NPC kids with no names, and it would have been just fine. And that's not to throw any shade against Tidus or Wakka, because I do love having them here. It's just that because they were made to be kids to fit the narrative that this place is only a hangout spot for kids, it would have been better to just have them in a different spot entirely. Although I do appreciate them being here of all places since it does fit the theme of Final Fantasy X, because as all Final Fantasy X fans know, Tidus and Wakka actually met on an island. Selphie serves a similar role to Wakka and Tidus in the first game, you know, being a person that you can train against and fight against, but later she becomes a little more impactful in Kingdom Hearts 2, even if it was only for one scene so that Kairi could have a girlfriend to bounce dialogue off of. Moving on, we have the Traverse Town Gang, featuring Leon, Yuffie, Aerith, and Cid. Leon kicks Sora around a little bit so that they can get the Keyblade away from him long enough so that the Heartless will stop hunting him down. Him and Yuffie act as proxies for the player by which Sora learns more about the Keyblade's powers and what the Heartless really are. Aerith serves a similar purpose to inform Donald and Goofy about why the worlds are disappearing. Cid primarily acts as a shopkeeper at the start, but also later reveals his expertise on gummy ships, the mode of transportation in this particular entry in the series. This is also very in character, as Cid is almost never without his signature airship, no matter which entry in the Final Fantasy series you find him in, so I can appreciate that attention to detail. Olympus Coliseum is the only Disney World that these guys ever really managed to make it to. Maybe that's why Nomura keeps putting it into every single game. We're not sure how or why, but Cloud, Sephiroth, Auron, and even Zack managed to wiggle their way into this one. Hell, even Leon and Yuffie managed to make it here for tournaments from time to time. In the first game, Cloud is under the control of Hades, and his freedom will only be given to him if he defeats Hercules. He He fails. He somewhat frees himself because we managed to defeat Cerberus by the end of our first visit to this world, but there is of course the matter of Sephiroth that still needs tending to. Sephiroth appears in both Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 as a secret boss. He's a difficult fight in both games, but by beating him both times, you get rewarded with an awesome cutscene showcasing him facing off against Cloud. It's overall one of my favorite parts of both games because, I mean, come on. It's two guys with oversized swords fighting each other to the death. In the first game, this was no more than a cool Easter egg, but Nomura did try to make a subplot for Cloud assisted by the appearance of Tifa, but fully Kingdom Heartsifying it with the talk of darkness and light. It was really cool, and it would have been nice to have a follow-up to that cliffhanger in Kingdom Hearts 3, but we'll get into that later. Hades wasn't very original going forward with his plots to destroy Hercules in both Birth by Sleep or Kingdom Hearts 2, since he tries to use both Auron and Zack in the exact same ways. Well, almost exact. Auron gets pulled up from the pool of souls and absolutely roasts the hell out of Hades. Seriously, whoever wrote this line deserves a Grammy.
I am the Lord of the Dead!
No wonder no one wants to die.
You are fired!
He ultimately defies Hades and just runs away with Sora and the gang to do his own thing. And I like that Auron is exactly how he was in Final Fantasy X. They even made the connection of, spoiler alert, him being an unsent to him being undead in Kingdom Hearts. No tampering or de-aging necessary to make him one of the coolest parts of Kingdom Hearts 2. Zack is slightly more unique in the sense he was just mind-controlled to attack Terra, but he is by far one of my favorite inclusions of a Final Fantasy character because he acts as a friendly rival to Ven and a bit of a flirt toward Aqua. It's so interesting to see his full journey through this game through the eyes of 3 different characters, and honestly it's kind of a shame he never appeared in future entries, which is more than what I can say for the rest of them. As we all knew, Kingdom Hearts 3 famously did not have any Final Fantasy characters included before Remind came out. Except for, of course, the Moogles. Yes, we got a little nod to Cloud just before arriving in Olympus for the first time, but other than that, the only other time we see so much as a trace of them is in the Limit Cut episode. And this is only really for 1 or 2 scenes so that Riku has someone to explain the situation regarding Sora's disappearance to, and thus the current state of Final Fantasy inclusion is upon us. Now don't get me wrong, I thought it was really cool of Nomura to make this callback and let us know that Hollow Bastion Restoration Committee is still here, but I mean, wasn't this what they always were? Cameos? Yes and no. While I think Nomura could have easily made up original characters to take their place, or even just unnamed ones to fill the role, it was absolutely necessary to involve Final Fantasy characters somehow to help Kingdom Hearts get on its feet, but that is no longer the case. The Kingdom Hearts cast has grown a lot over the years, with characters getting extensive arcs and compelling moments that have solidified their popularity in the gaming world. It's something entirely its own now, and I firmly believe that this was what was going to happen sooner or later anyways. In conclusion, from my perspective, Kingdom Hearts to me was always about the Kingdom Hearts original characters. When I played this game for the first time, I always saw it as its own thing, and the inclusion of Final Fantasy was more of an afterthought. I grew up alongside this series, and its characters and narrative are incredibly important to me. Kingdom Hearts is 21 years old now. It's all grown up. Final Fantasy is the doting parent to this franchise, of course, and it couldn't have become what it is today without it. But it's time for Kingdom Hearts to move out and grow on its own. So maybe it's time to finally say goodbye. Of course, with its other parent Disney still holding its hand along the way, but that's another video for another day. What do you think? Are you still a Final Fantasy believer, or are you like me and see it as its own right time to part ways and let Kingdom Hearts run off on its own? Let me know in the comments, and hey, be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's discussion. I've been Key, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.